Your flaws make you unique. You are safe. You are a go-getter. You respect yourself. You love your body. You are above negative thoughts. You are selfless. You are inspiring. You are not alone. You are enough. You were enough. You'll always be enough. I am a gift. I am a gift to the world. When I lead with kindness and love, I create a ripple effect that benefits more people than I'll ever know. My presence, my knowledge, and my passions contribute to the greater good of the world. I am a gift. It is safe to shed past versions of myself. I honor and release who I was, and I welcome and celebrate who I am stepping into. Thank you for joining me for another episode of MyCurlsSpeak with Key. Of course, I'm Key, and happy Wednesday. This week's episode was inspired by a status I kept seeing on Facebook circulating last week, and it irked my soul. And I'm just gonna quote it. Chime in. Why do men keep women around they don't want a relationship with? Okay, y'all heard the status, right? Now, I don't know if y'all think that's rocket science, but the answer to that is quite simple. It's because we allow it. And this reminds me of a poem I wrote a few years ago, and I'm going to share it with y'all. Insanity is repetition, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. How many times do I forgive you and take you back before it's called self-destruction? How many times do you play me and I allow it, just for a simple I love you with no actions behind it, before the blame becomes mine? Or is it already? Year after year, girl after girl, I still made myself available to you to completely destroy me and make me look like Boo Boo the Fool. But I know you, but I still expect different. Insanity. That's what you call that, to repeatedly do the same shit expecting this time to be different. Insanity. For me to pour myself into you, lift you up, just for you to catch a quick nut and you say maybe this is too much. Insanity. Thinking this time is the time he'll be ready for all I have to give. This time, out of all of the other times, everything will change. Insanity. Because it always ends the same. And again, you whisper, maybe we should be friends. This time is different though. We had to end. As you listen to that poem, I hope you heard the fact I blame myself for allowing him in and out of my life. And I wrote that poem, I believe, it's 2021. I'm not going to give y'all no real timeline because y'all going to start trying to add up my men and see who that was about. But it's like 4 years old. I say 4 or 3 years old. So it's not recent. So don't try to make it that. It's not recent. But as I went back to that poem, I thought about the mind space I was in when I wrote it. And I was ready to take accountability for what was really going on in my life. And this particular person, I build this podcast on complete transparency. So I'm not going to stop that on this episode. This particular person had been in my life for years. When I say years, I had known him since high school. And that's why I had the line, woman after woman, girl after girl. And yes, I will admit that we went back and forth since high school. And I moved on. I got married. I had kids with other people. But I still had that hope in the back of my mind that one day he was going to choose me. And it didn't matter what he did, how far he went, who he married. I had hope that one day this man was going to choose me. Y'all, it never happened. It never happened. And all this time I'm wondering how he just keeps hurting me. He just keeps hurting me. And I'm making all these excuses and I'm talking to my friends. And at this time I had the same friend group. Actually, a lot of the people that I'm friends with now, I met back then. And some of my best poems I wrote during that heartbreak. And I wasn't at a time, I wasn't in a space where I was receptive of anybody telling me that I was the problem. Not then. But I had a close friend. I'm actually going to call his name because he listens to the podcast. I had a friend. His name is Brian. And I used to send him my poems every day. And one day, Brian was like, Key, he was like, you've been going back and forth with this dude for so long. Why do you do it? And you know how you read a text message and you don't really know what to say in response? Because I'm a Scorpio, but I'm kind of honest. So, like, if I don't really know the answer to something, I'm not going to lie. So, that whole day, I didn't write him back. Like, I didn't text back. My read receipts was on and everything. He probably thought I was mad. But I really didn't know why I kept going back. I had no answers for that at all, besides the fact that he was familiar and that I loved him. But it comes a time where you have to choose to love you more than anybody else. And if it's ever a time, I said this on, I think, Letter to My Ex, which was like episode 2, if you want to go back and listen to that. Is if there's ever a time where you have to make the decision to choose you, and choosing you is not choosing the other person, then that means that y'all not supposed to be together anyway. And I had to choose me. A lot of times when a breakup happens, especially if the man, or I'm going to say in this, because I'm speaking from my life, I can't speak on anyone else. If a breakup has happened, this particular person actually broke up with me. My ex, my most recent ex, broke up with me. But ladies, I need you to understand that just because somebody said the words, that doesn't mean they broke up with you. You have to emotionally detach yourself from that person yourself. And just because somebody said it's over, it's not over until you close that door. So as long as you allowing that door to stay open and he can hit you up, let me tell you, I just blocked my favorite man. And I really wanted to say the N-word, but my show is clean. I just blocked one of my favorites like 4 days ago. And the reason why I blocked him was because I'm going to just say it. I battled COVID recently. And with COVID, you sick for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And this particular person, we don't see each other anymore, but he was in and out, just in and out. And he texted me a couple of nights ago. And this particular night, I was doing a breathing treatment when he asked me, what are you doing this weekend? And usually when he sends me a text like that, I tell him what I'm doing this weekend. But I finally got to the point where I don't want dealings with him anymore. Even though we've been dealing with each other for however long, I don't want dealings with him anymore. So my response back to him was, I have COVID. I can't do anything this weekend. His response to me was, well, why didn't you call me? Now, this gonna hurt a lot of people, but I'm gonna say this. I got that from a lot of people. Like, I had a lot of people text my phone because once I started feeling better, I wrote a status on Facebook and I said that I was sick, but I was doing better when I wrote the status. And it was a lot of men that came to me and was like, why you didn't tell me? If you were being consistent, you would not have had to find out that I had COVID on social media. You would have known I had COVID already. And when this particular person texts me, all I thought in the back of my mind, I have not heard from him in over 6 weeks. Why is he texting me now? Y'all, usually I go back and forth. We argue. Whatever. And I don't have any type of, I guess it's a soul. I don't know what it is. It's more of, well, let's be real. Some of us just addicted to dysfunction. And it doesn't matter if you healed or you moved on or whatever. Like, some people just bring that particle into your life and it's hard for you to let go. And that's what he gave me. He just gave me that. He gave me that toxic energy that I hadn't had in a while. He gave me my toxic fix. And I'm just going to be honest with you. On Saturday, I blocked him. Instead of offering a explanation to why I didn't hit him back and why I didn't tell him and why I didn't explain that I was sick and all this other stuff, I simply closed the door. Ladies, A man is only going to do what we allow him. I allowed this man to be able to pick his phone up and aggravate me whenever he wanted to. I allowed this man to be able to get on my Facebook and get on my statuses and act like we together and we not. And we just arguing back and forth until I get embarrassed and then I delete the comment. Then I'm all in my friend text me to my girl. You seen that? What, girl? I should have blocked him a long time ago. But I didn't. I allowed it. He did it because I allowed it. He popped in and out of my life every 2 to 3 months because I left that door open. If you want that man to leave you alone, you leave him alone. How about you do that? Like, it's time that we actually take accountability for our own heartbreaks. Because if someone shows you who they are, like, you know that old saying, like, when somebody show you who they are, believe them the first time. Let's not lie, we don't. We don't. We let somebody show us over and over again that they don't really care about us. And then finally, after we done cried and used all of Walmart's Kleenex, we believe them. Then we do. I said all this to say, to answer that question, the reason why a man keeps a woman around that he doesn't want a relationship with, that he doesn't want to marry, that he doesn't see a future with, that he's not going to spend money on, a woman that he never wants to have children with, he never wants to build with, is because we allow it. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's not that I said on episode 1 that you attract the same person until you learn your lesson. But at the same time, how many lessons you need? like how many of the same person do we need? Maybe, just maybe it's me. It could possibly be me. Thank you for joining me for another episode of MyCurlsSpeak with Key. To follow the show, follow us on Instagram at MCS with Key. To get to know the voice behind everything, follow me at The Diary of Key on all platforms, that's Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and on Clubhouse, please. 2 Wise. Thank you again. See you next week.